Welcome back, everyone, to Friend or Foe Season 7, the final week, the final day, and what both of these teams will have as their final regular season match for now. A little bit of a asterisk on that one as we get into this one. My name is Rare Adam. Alongside me is two Art of War players, actually. Ariri, who casted the last game, and I flamed him a little bit, and Amid, who I just need to say Nasus to, and he'll get scared. So, nonetheless, welcome to you both here.
True.
Hey, how you doing, Rare and Amid? How you guys doing? Before we go into draft.
Yeah, I guess it has already started, right? But I'm doing pretty good. We have like the Ornn and the Lulu from Fat Pikachu. Not sure what that's going for. Probably going to be trying to play like a protected carry front to back comp. And then a first big Volibear on Oversoul, so probably a flex. Never mind, not a flex.
I'm interested to see how this plays out, though, from both of these teams, because something to note for Fat Pikachu here is the fact that they've got Goy playing in the mid lane once again, Oatmeal 1234 playing in the jungle, Kenny Train down on that bottom side of the map. This is the roster that they ran yesterday, and they put that Lulu into the mid lane. Ariri, what are your thoughts on putting this support into that mid lane here?
I mean, Lulu previously was a mid laner, but she lost a lot of her damage, so she kind of got forced into the support role. She can still be played in solo lane, just it's not as oppressive as it once was. So it's still pretty, I think it's a pretty decent pick overall.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Around it.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they end up drafting with this second half of the draft. Of note here, Oversoul Esports Incarnate banning out the Ashe, the Kaisa, and the Varus, going to be taken away by Fat Pikachu here, seeming as if they want to play towards one of these safer bot lanes once again. We have to also talk about the gravity of this game, and I'll go to you for this one, Amid. Oversoul Esports Incarnate are currently at 14-3. If they win this game, they get first place in the regular season, pushing your team down to second. If they lose this game, they will play a tiebreaker against you. Of course, on the flip side, Fat Pikachu 9-8. If they lose this game and In the Trees and UB both win their games, there's a three-way tiebreaker for that last playoff spot. If Fat Pikachu win this game, they just qualify for playoffs straight up. Amid, tell me about how this game feels, being able to watch it and cast it, but have no control over your destiny.
I think this is actually really exciting. I feel really fortunate to be able to be here and help cast right now. This is a really cool game to be able to watch because personally, I mean, it's obvious that I do want Fat Pikachu to win. Fat Pikachu losing would be interesting because a three-way tiebreaker could be a really crazy situation. But honestly, I definitely want the tiebreaker. I want to have the opportunity to be first, and I think the extra game would be a banger as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it could be extra several games as well. You know, it's sort of like when you get to the finale of a show or something and they just add like 3 episodes of filler at the end and they're like, okay, yeah, you're going to wait to see what goes on with that. But nonetheless, this team comp that has now sort of come through from both of these sides. The Zillion is picked up once again by Freedom Potatoes. But Lulu is going into the mid lane as expected for Goy. But now we clear it out with this Jinx Alistar bot lane from Fat Pikachu. Ariri, tell me about the cow. I'm curious.
The cow is actually a great pick. They're playing actually a comp that we played in FFS7 with double 80 carries of Kindred Jinx, and then they also have an Enchanter, and they have 3 magic damage dealers that don't deal a lot of magic damage, right? So like Lulu doesn't deal a ton of magic damage, Ornn doesn't deal a ton of magic damage, Alistar, but it's enough magic damage where they still have to build some MR, right? Or it will start like wearing them down with all the magic damage coming through, on top of the Kindred and Jinx damage. So I think it's a really, really nice draft and really well put together. And Oversoul's draft is, I think, okay. I mean, you're picking Mordekaiser in the first phase. I mean, you have an Ornn, right? You could just look for another pick that's even probably better, in my personal opinion, instead of just forcing the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and Amid, what are your thoughts on this draft as well from both of these teams?
Honestly, if I had to pick a team to be on playing this draft, and this is going to say a lot, I would genuinely prefer to be playing Lulu mid on Fat Pikachu because at least I could collect my free win. I don't really know what happened. I don't know if it's like, maybe it's like comfort champions, or maybe it's just because they think they're like a better team. The draft wasn't like as tight, but it felt like they gave away their instant advantage with the Volibear flex, like with the next pick. And then I also think that when you look at the way these two teams want to play, I think it's a less strong option to have the Enchanter in the mid lane and go the carry jungler. I also do wonder about picking Jinx over Kaisa and banning Kaisa when you can get that strong like engaged bot like an Alistar or maybe even a Nautilus. But even so, I think that their comp is really solid. I think that Mordekaiser and Volibear kind of have to go into them for free. They do have some range with the Tristana, but this really does seem like it has to be a Tristana 1v9 show with like the Seraphine Zillion support, because I don't really see another way that that Fat Pikachu could really lose.
Yeah, should be interested to see how this all plays out, but we will be getting right into game, I believe, with the magnitude of this game holding so much into not only OVS's potential at playoffs, potential spot in playoffs, as well as your spot in playoffs. It could be Fat Pikachu's lives on the line. They are fighting for survival here, for everything that they are worth, looking to capture one of those final playoff spots. Nonetheless, we are on to the Rift. OVS versus Fat Pikachu. Lots on the table here for these two teams. Very interested to see how this plays out. And something that I want to point out as well, Lifrith pulling out the Tristana mid lane. Skarloey going to be the one playing the Seraphine bot lane. A little bit of a switch up here to try and punish Goy on this Lulu.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Eamon.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I think the pivot to the Tristana mid, or maybe that was their plan all along, is pretty solid. It's gonna have permanent prio into Lulu, so they'll always have at least one winning lane, probably two with the Mordekaiser top as well. So maybe they could get advantages through their stronger lanes in the early game.
Honestly, it's been something to really watch and almost in awe, I want to say. Funny to say that considering it's your team name, all that, ha 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 ha, make the funny jokes now. Been watching in awe at how Stormbless has been so reliant on Ornn this entire season, just picking it up whatever they want. And it worked really well for the first part of this season, but that dependence on the champion now has started to come back to haunt them a little bit, because now you see they picked the Ornn and they're just immediately answered back with something like a Mordekaiser that can give them so much trouble. Ariri, you don't play a whole lot of top. Well, you might play a little bit of top. I don't know. You might play top lane. This Ornn, it just feels like it's too easy to predict what Fat Pikachu are going to do as Raptor flashes forward, gets a knock up, and walks away.
The Ornn doesn't give too much away. Like you can use Ornn as a peel champ, long range engage, strictly. You can do a whole bunch of things with Ornn, so it doesn't give away too much in draft. But what it does is it allows them to like try to counter pick you in the top lane and not have to like worry about it. So usually like picking like R3 would probably be better, but they do put a lot of priority onto the Ornn because they Fat Pikachu typically does like to play the scaling comps and just try to survive the early game and then win the game through a team fight, because they're a very good team fighting team.
Yeah, as you can see, Raptor trying to just use that cow to the most of their abilities. Needs more cowbell on that bottom side of the map, though. The Engage not quite going to find anything there. But once again, as you mentioned, it's going to be all about this scaling. Stormbless, though, going aggressive here onto Limster, might be getting the better end of this trade. Lots of damage being dealt back and forth, but that big old shield from the Mordekaiser just going to be enough to sort of make that trade a little bit more even.
Yeah, and I think also it's gonna be kind of like, because it's interesting, I would expect the Lulu to be down more in this matchup, but the CS is pretty even, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, they're going in for a trade now, but it's just like Tristana's not even winning these trades. So I wonder if like this is like the secret like dark magic tech where it's like Tristana actually just doesn't win against Lulu, but now it's Volibear trying to contest the Kindred, but it's actually looking like it's going to be a whole fight.
Goodness. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pincer on both sides here. Going in is Raptor, engaging onto Skarloey, but they've got to worry about both sides of this. Oatmeal 1234 going to smite that away, but Goy taking a lot of damage. Swifty now needs to be careful. Flashing away, its first blood picked up by Oatmeal 1234. I say it every single time. Never gets old. Freedom Potatoes now on the run, forced to flash away from that shock bolt coming through from the Jinx. Going to be first blood going over to the Kindred.
Yeah, the fact that
yeah, Potatoes goes down. Nice little knockup from Raptor, secures that one out. And Fat Pikachu, they've got themselves out to a very strong early game. Interesting.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be winning these early game skirmishes at all. Like, you have like Swifty being notorious on that Volibear, looking for those early ganks. He pretty much always 4 camp clears into a gank, and he didn't get off that gank, didn't get the early lead that he always gets, and Fat Pikachu was just able to punish them at that Scuttle Crab.
They don't want to sell themselves short in the final game of the season when they know the implications that this hold. Of course, both of you are cheering for Fat Pikachu in this situation with as little bias as possible on it. You know, trying your best to make sure that bias doesn't pierce through the broadcast in any way. But nonetheless, that's a great start for Artivore's. I mean, Fat Pikachu. You know?
yeah, I agree. Actually.
It is a great start for Artivore. But yeah, it's a very good start for Fat Pikachu. They're a scaling comp, and they won early. Like, it just makes it really, really easy for them. Now they can literally just wait, play more reactive, and just wait for OVS to try to make a play, and then capitalize on a mistake that they make.
Yeah, something to keep in mind, though. Oatmeal, 1,234, gonna get their second mark of the game, just moving right up, but might be in some hot water as the metal beast from hell shows up, gives him a little love tap with that big old obliterate, and then just walks out. But it's a second mark picked up by Oatmeal here. I'm curious to see if they actually got a third one off of the early kill into Swifty. If they have those 3 marks, that is incredible for not only the earlier game, the mid game, I want to say. It can bode well for the later stages, because those stacks are so important.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And it's just been like kind of interesting to me that, oh, wow, and right as I start that, there's actually a fight going on, but it looks like Stormbreeze might be in some trouble here. Actually just going to walk it out. Totally fine. Sorry about that. But I think the Kindred getting this many marks so early is like mostly a product of just like Swiftly being way too aggressive. I think that first fight that like was forced, of course, hindsight is 2020, but you have to expect you're not going to really win that against the Kindred. And then she's coming in for another gank, knowing that the Mordekaiser has no ult, but it's not really going to pan out, unfortunately.
Yeah, Flash is still up and available. Kindred unable to release that Ornn from this hellhole of a lane, basically. It's so difficult to play into this, especially when you've got this giant spelt on the Mordekaiser. You've just got a whole bunch of health backing up. And if we can get a check on the Kindred stack area, I want to make sure that they did get that third stack on the 50, because that fourth stack is so important to the Kindred here. I want to make sure that if they are able to get that scaling going a little bit quicker, it can go well for this game for them. You know, raise it to a higher pitch, so to speak. Really push forward for those later stages.
Yeah, and the fact that they're almost like they're pretty even on CS at this point. Like, top lane's not far behind. Kindred actually has a lead. Lulu's only 10 CS behind, and we have a lead in bot lane. It is going to help them in this mid game, especially because they actually have a pretty strong mid game with the Lulu ult. The Jinx is still strong once she gets her like first item. I don't know what she is I don't know what builds out of recurve bow.
Probably Kraken Slayer.
Is Kraken?
Yeah, okay. Most likely Kraken.
I thought Kraken builds out of
I think it's
builds out a Noon Quiver as well. It's Noon Quiver, recurve, and
recurve. Yeah.
Okay. You can tell how much I play AD carry.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, typical support mains not knowing how to build AD carry items. What can we say? Yeah, nonetheless, Lifrith will try and jump in there. Turned into a snowman there. Basically removes all facilities. And I think that is what makes this lane a little bit more difficult for Lifrith here. Oatmeal, though, going to try and skirmish around this crab. Not quite going to get that one for free. Swifty smites that one away. And I'm interested to see how this Kindred continues to progress, because those stacks are going to be oh so important. Very likely sitting on that third stack right now. Once you get to 4 stacks, you're sort of unlocked. You're given the agency to move around the map a little bit more. When you have this opportunity as a Kindred, you can start to roam around with your mid laner a lot more, but that mid laner's a Lulu. What's that thought on how the mid jungle matchup now works out?
Yeah, so I've actually been playing like a decent amount of jungle recently, Graves Kindred no less, and it's like, oh, sorry, one more. Yeah, that was kind of weird in the background, but normally it might be a little weird having like a Lulu mid, and maybe you're playing something like a Talia jungle, stuff like that, or like a tank jungle like a Sejuani. That's not what you want to see. I'll start actually flashing in onto the Seraphine, but I don't think they're going to be able to get much. are going to get the traps, but won't result in much. Flash and Ignite are going to be burned, but nothing really from the side of OVS other than the heal. But actually, Lulu's a great enabler for the Kindred, and
man.
actually they're going back into onto the All-Star, get the double bomb, but it's not going to be enough to kill him. Kind of like a crazy fight sequence going on bot, not what you expect to see, but at the end of it, no one even ends up dying.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the top side, though, Oatmeal taken down into the hellhole, sent to Brazil here, needs to try and stay alive. Will use that Lim's Respite to try and survive just a little bit longer, but flashes out of it at the last second. Limster picks up the kill onto Oatmeal, 1,234. Swifty's here to play as well, turns off the tower. Stormblast under duress here, needs to play cautiously, but Limster doesn't even want to test it with that health bar being as low as it is. Stormblast will stay alive with the flash, but it's Oatmeal's life going down there on a failed gank attempt. Limster wins the 1v2.
Yeah, that was actually pretty impressive. Kind of surprised like he even gets the win there, but I guess like the champion's pretty strong, and it's just, I don't know, he kind of just runs him down.
Great pickup there. Sort of donating a kill to charity there on the top side is Oatmeal, 1,234. You'll never catch me using the shortened form of the Kindred's name there. Absolutely not, but nonetheless, as this game develops as well, you can see 11 minutes into this one, gold is dead even, despite that early fight win for the side of Fat Pikachu. The gold difference on the top side of the map really starting to make up for that, with the Rylai's already complete on Limster. Don't really have that mythic anywhere close from Stormblast at this point.
Yeah, so now we have the dragon spawning. OVS should have the priority for this with the Tristana, and then their immediate wave clear with the okay, nothing's happening, I don't think.
Just playing a little bit of fun with this one. Actually, Raptor taking a boatload of damage on the outset of that one from Lifrith, who picked up that static shiv early on here. Interesting first item choice from the Tristana mid lane here. I guess maybe to supplant some of that wave clear that they might be missing, but it's Tristana. She's got the E passive.
And just to probably make it faster so they can roam to the map quicker.
Yeah.
So it's just a match the Volibear roams. That I think is how it is.
Might be fighting on the bottom side of the map. Kenny Train caught on the wrong side of town, rooted up. All the damage is coming down. That last time bomb will take down. One last auto attack will clean it up. Skarloey will collect it. Get on their motorcycle. Get out of there. They might turn this one back around, though, as Raptor taking a lot of damage as well. Swifty needs to be careful. No ultimate has been used yet. Has the Zillion ultimate to revive here, but there's no support for the backup here. Lifrith, though, jumping into the back line here. Swifty dealing a decent amount of damage to Raptor. It's a jump in. It's a double kill picked up by Lifrith as Goy is left to run to the hills here. All the summoners expended, and yet OVS find 3 and lose none.
Yeah,
that was a... Sorry, go
ahead. It's just getting the Tristana unlocked there. Getting I think that was 2 kills for 2 kills for Tristana. Just allowing her to get her spikes faster and be able to possibly kill this blue on repeat.
Rocket. Almost enough to potentially snipe that one away, but the dragon is going to be secured by the side of OVS. That gold deficit they had in that early game around that first skirmish has now flipped on its head. 2,500 gold in favor of OVS now. Amid, when you're in this situation as a mid laner, being 1,500 gold, now 1,700 gold up, especially playing a champion like Tristana, you've got to feel pretty good about yourself in Lifrith's shoes here.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the dream, honestly, but this is also realistically like the necessity. It's gonna look really nice, the 4-2 score line. They're making the comeback. They're up in the dragons. They're up in the gold, like almost 3K. But realistically, this is what has to happen. And it's the All-Stars kind of spotting out a little invade here, but not really going to result in much. Actually, it might get caught, but probably just going to go over. Yeah, and it's going to be completely fine. Tristana getting the turret for free. I don't love the choice of static shiv here, though. I think in general, it's a bit of a bait item on the champion, and then also in a game like this where you have to be the 1v9 carry, I think you just do want to go for something like the Kraken Slayer, or even if you want to like go for a straight up dry Navori, that's an option too. But going into a less damage, more utility route initially is definitely a little interesting.
Yeah, and something I want to take a look at as well is the Kindred stacks. You know, last little bit, it's still been the same amount. I believe it's stuck at 3. Actually, might be engaged on by Lifrith here. Oatmeal 1,234 will be able to escape with that one. The interesting part is, you know, Kindred wants to get to that 4th stack here. Only has 2, so I did misrepresent that 3rd stack that is already there. So we should really only be calling it Oatmeal 1-2 at this point because they don't have the 3rd stack yet. It really
True.
leaves you in a difficult situation as the Kindred, though, because that 4th stack is really where you unlock. Until then, you are simply an embryo of a Kindred, waiting to hatch, waiting to come out into the open and really find your chance to shine. And it seems as if Oatmeal hasn't had that chance to do so. Granted, top side of the map, under stress once again. Stormblast going to call the ram down. Oh, the Forge God going to find knockups on the 2, but there's still so much damage, so much tanking to be had. Limster will send Stormblast down into the Death Realm and will flash out of there. Incredible plays coming through from OVS as they find the kill, despite Stormblast throwing everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, that was super close. Stormblast almost 1v2'd that under tower. It was really, really well played by him.
Ooh, Freedom Potatoes collects another one on the bottom side. Kenny Train taken out of the picture. Freedom Potatoes on the Zillion has been excellent over the last couple of days. Yesterday had a very good performance on the Zillion as well. And repeating that once again here, Zillion can be such a pesky champion to deal with. Ahmed, what are your thoughts on the Zillion bot lane? And you know what? The support man gets to talk about these all the time. I want to hear about your thoughts on Zillion.
No, I'm so happy. I'm so happy because this is like Zillion is like the tier right under Nasus. It's disgusting. I hate seeing it support. I hate seeing it mid. People play at ADC. But I don't hate seeing it because it's bad. It's actually amazing. And as a player who likes to play Irelia and Yone and these sorts of dive champions, it really screws me over every single time. But when you look at the team they're playing it against, really, none of these guys hate playing against Zillion ult. None of these guys, like, their most committal member is Alistar, who has ult, but it's like their damage doesn't need to really dive in or anything. Most of their damage even outranges. So, well, to an extent, right, with enough Kindred marks and like a Jinx skew. But I guess it could be good because you want the Tristana to stay alive no matter what, and I think that is something that they definitely are going to play towards. Just ulting the Tristana every fight, making sure she's fully unlocked, and I think that is going to find a lot of value, actually.
And I think especially at this point when you get that extra movement speed, you're able to rotate around the map a lot quicker. Something like a Cloud Soul can be even more detrimental to deal with. Granted, Oatmeal 1,234 under a lot of pressure right now. Swifty is 1v2ing, 1v3ing right now, but has to turn tail and run. The ultimate expended from the Lulu, the Wild Growth, to keep Oatmeal alive. And Raptor now forced to walk back, may be in trouble. Gonna try and use that Unbreakable Will to get out of there as well, but here comes Volibear from the top rope, wrestling like he's on television. Gonna find one, gonna find two is the side of OVS. As Freedom Potatoes is on a killing spree, Oatmeal goes down to Brazil for a little bit. Is the damage going to be enough? Yes, it will. Limster collects a 3rd kill in this game, and oh my goodness, OVS Esports are making sure Art of War stay out of the tiebreakers.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disaster for sure. It's really unfortunate considering the game stayed not too long ago, where it's like you kind of like where you are as Fat Pikachu and like as OVS. It's like kind of you have to keep like accelerating, but I mean they found it, right? They found like their ways to excel. I mean, I criticized the Volibear play early for being too aggressive, but I guess he knew what he needed to do and he kind of got it done, and he's been constantly forcing these plays and it's been working out. You had the kill on the Kindred with the marks, you had the kill on the Jinx, but they just weren't able to keep the game steady, unfortunately.
This game is starting to fall off the rails here for Fat Pikachu, and it's been a common trend for them that their early games have been okay. They've been, if they get to the late game, they can do quite well for themselves as well, but especially in the last couple of weeks, it feels as if they're able to get leads and it just falls through their fingers. And Ariri, what can that do for the team mentality, especially when you're going into playoffs on such a long losing streak?
It can actually have a huge effect, especially when you had such a high. Fat Pikachu is, I believe, only lost 1 game in the first round robin, and it makes it incredibly disheartening when you're like, we have this potential, we have this way we play, and it's just not working for us at the moment, and it just kind of sucks.
We'll have to see if anything else develops in the meantime. Of course, the game is not over until it's over, but a lot of the times you look at a 10,000 gold lead before 20 minutes, and you start to feel the grim realization of the state of affairs here. Nonetheless, still looking for any sort of win conditions here. Lifrith is 5,000 gold up on their lane opponent. Lifrith makes up half of the gold difference in this game.
I remember
yeah.
a Tristana game that was like that.
Yeah, that's kind of the Tristana special, but you kind of expect it to some extent when you're picking the Lulu mid. It's not supposed to be like this, though. It's never supposed to be like this. And Kindred's actually going in, flashing in, but I mean, Zilean is pretty comfortable here. He has the turret, has flash, heal, ult. I mean, yeah, it's not looking great. Tristana's going in, and
yeah, Oatmeal actually knocked out with the Buster Shot. The flash to follow here. Lifrith is looking for some resets. Third kill of the game picked up. Goy in a whole boatload of trouble. Here comes the Tristana. Jumping. Everyone's jumping everywhere. It's a triple kill.
Penta?
And this game could potentially this could be over right now. 5 members strong. Wave pushing down mid lane. Seems as if they will back off to push out some of these sides for the time being. But the Purple Worm is next on the chopping block. Freedom Potatoes has freed themselves from the grasp of Oatmeal 1234, and instead the prize is 3 kills and a Baron.
They're pulling a Art of War esports special. Can end the game, but we're gonna do the safe route and just go straight to the objective and get that, make it 100% confirmed.
Playing as safe as necessary to make sure they get that win for themselves. Of course, as mentioned from the top of the broadcast, this win would give OVS sole possession of first place, much to the chagrin of my 2 co-casters here. Fat Pikachu, if they are to make the monumental comeback here of 13,000 gold at 21 minutes, they would get themselves into sole possession of 5th place and lock themselves a date with either Asura Gaming or Blue Bayou in the next round. Not sure. They need a there's going to be another tiebreaker. I don't know what's going on anymore with playoffs. It's a whole mess at this point. Someone can make a fully sheet.
It's winnable, I guarantee. I'm not coping. Here's how we win if we're Fat Pikachu. Okay, Volibear's going on our Kindred. Can we save our Kindred? Is Kindred dead for free? All right, GG. Lucky.
Yeah, it seems as if that's the case. Swiftly takes down Oatmeal here. Meanwhile, Lifrith in that mid lane, just going to jump out of there. Call of the Forge God will find a second knockup. Will they find enough damage onto the Tristana? No, they will not in time. There's a big encore coming across as Goy uses that long wild growth, but the Buster Shot once again going to be coming up huge. The explosive charge collects too, and this could be curtains for Fat Pikachu in this game. Oversoul Esports Incarnate, the hottest team at the moment. I don't care that you 2 are here as well. They are the hottest team, and they are romping their way to what will potentially be a first place finish in the regular season. Skarloey gets a 3rd of the game. Oversoul Esports Incarnate will have sole possession of first place in the regular season. Oatmeal will just collect some pittance change out of that one as Lifrith continues to drop down the auto attacks. Eventually they'll hit the Nexus and end this one. Yeah, there you go. Come on, let's go. Let's close out this game. First place for Oversoul Esports Incarnate.
Yeah, very, very well played by them. Besides the first 5 minutes of the game where they lost 2 kills to Kindred, but overall, all Fat Pikachu need to do is after that play, they just needed to relax, play the game, and just neutralize the game pretty much. But they tried to keep making plays, and it did not work out.
Yeah. I honestly think that it should be commended to. I mean, OVS really it did feel like they had a strategy coming out the gate, and they really committed to that to an extent that's pretty admirable, because even though it didn't work at first, to be honest, 5 minutes in the game, Kindred is a kill up with 2 stacks, and Jinx has a kill, and this is just the Giga Scale and GG, game's over, right? That's how it feels. But they're no, okay, we know how we have to play to get back into the game and win the game, because obviously we can't play safe and scale. We have to get our leads, and they did it. They forced where they needed to force, and they played the fights well. So GG to them.
Yeah, honestly, very well played from the side of Oversoul Esports and Carnet, running off multiple wins in a row to finally catch their nemesis in themselves in Art of War Esports. Nonetheless, believe we might have an interview. I have no clue if we have an interview. We're gonna head to a break. If we have an interview, we'll be back with the interview. If we don't, then we'll go on to game 3. Believe it's Asura Gaming versus In the Tree, Blue Bayou Zoo. One of those two. Pandas with hats versus In the Trees. That's what's next. We'll be back after that.